Hi, good day. Thanks for being with us. My name is Emmanuel Jalausho, and with my partner here is
Skin in Murphy.
yeah. We are working on human-centered system development, and we are working on an assignment: complex system and organizational information processing. So I go on the introduction. I talked about complexity in ISD project is a significant issue for many organizations. Complexity in terms of information system development project is many issue in which many organizations, many companies are facing with it. Many companies, they have what they want to do, they have issues, they have a lot of things that they want to do that are complex, but they have these challenges of how to solve it. But with the issue of complexity in information system processing development, it's going to help in solving those organizational problems in which most organizations and most companies are facing. And difficulties have been encountered in responding to challenges in real time. In responding to challenges in real time regarding to complexity, a lot of problems, a lot of difficulties have been encountered in which most engineers, some IT personnel, they want to solve those problems. And by the time you want to solve those problems together, it's going to have a lot of things because it is complex and it requires you to sit down, think, analyze on how to solve the complex issue. But now that they don't know how to do it, that is the problem and difficulties in which a lot of things put together, and to take your time, you're going to solve the problem in which most organizations, most companies are facing with it. Then managers should start to adopt their view of complexity to respond to complex adaptive system. Managers need to start to adapt their view. They have to have a different view. They have to have this view of complexity to respond to a complex adaptive system. Like if there is a new system in which a complex system have been solved, or they are introducing a new software, they are trying to introduce a new IT system. A new managers need to sit down to, they need to adapt to it. They need to upgrade they need to upgrade their IT knowledge, and they need to be able to work with the complex system. And still on the introduction, the study suggests that in order to analyze complexity and order, it is necessary to analyze complexity in a number of aspects. In order to analyze complexity, we have to analyze the complexity in a number of aspects. Which aspect are we focusing on? Which aspect do we need to put a change to? Which aspect do we need to work on? That is what we need to do first in order to analyze the complexity. Once we analyze it, once we identify the problem, then we'll now analyze how it is being complex and how to solve the problem and how to solve the challenges. If a software application was required to be installed into a number of systems, there will be a significant increase in level of ISD, information system development complexity. There is a number of software that need to be installed, and you cannot use one software to solve the issue that is being encountered in complexity. Each software are integrated into one another because there's take for instance, you are building an application or you are building a website. You cannot use a software today because there's sometimes we need to add up some new features, add up some new program, add up some other things. So those software works from hand to hand, from one level to the other. At the end of the day, you bring those software together to integrate them to solve the problem that is being faced in information system development. And we, in aspect of doing that, in respect of that, it is being adding up to the complexity on how the system, on how the work is being complex. But with the number of application of software that is being worked together, you can actually solve the problem of complexity. You can have different softwares together, add like 4, 5, 6 software together, you integrate them, and it's going to solve the complexity issue. Complexity in information system development. Existing theory of complexity can be adapted. In order to solve it, we have some theories of complexity. We can actually adopt that method. We can actually adopt those theories because before a theory can be accepted, it has to go through a level of they test it, they check it if it is right, because you cannot just bring up a theory that is going to mislead people. So before the theory can be added, before the theory can be publicized for everybody to use, that means it has been tested and it has been proved okay. So we can actually adopt those series of theories in order to solve those complexity. And managers and technical staff have different opinions regarding to some aspects of complexity, which is the major problem. We have IT managers, we have technical staff, both of them having different opinion regarding to aspect of complexity. We're supposed not to be so. We have to have a situation whereby we have the managers having his own idea, we have the technical staff having their own idea. Both of them should come together and come to an agreement and come to a compromise to understand that we have to solve this together. And the IT manager has his own experience, have his own knowledge. The technical staff, they too, they have their own knowledge. How can you bring those two things together, integrate them together, and try to solve the problem? Because that was one of the major problems that they faced, that they encounter in Brazil case study. Two people having different opinion, which supposed not to be so. Bringing up the same opinion together, integrate them together, bring your idea, you bring your idea, because in IT one idea is not enough. You bring your idea, they will add it together. And another thing is personal and situational interest is a factor. And in order to solve complexity problem or in order to work on complexity in information system development, we have personal and situational interest, because people might have their own personal interest and in which they want to add up into the system, and sometimes they have situational interest because of the situation that they are passing through at that moment or at that period of time. They want to add it up into it, and which we know that most of them, they have it there. And the last one is risk management is a key element, because there is nothing that you want to do that you have to just think about the risk, because if you don't think about the risk, something can come up, and by the time you're thinking about the risk, you think about the risk that is involved. That is why you have to come with risk analysis. You analyze your risk, you know what are the risks involved, and sometimes you can have a risk contingency plan, which is like a plan B in case something go wrong, in case we are unable to solve a problem, in case something unexpected happen. What can we do that we won't lose everything? Then we fall back to the risk contingency plan.
Okay, in terms of the Brazilian case study, then it analysed complexity in ISD and requirements engineering in Brazil. It looked at the effects of complexity in requirements engineering and ISD projects with a countrywide case study of the Brazilian IS developer. Interconnectedness, interdependence, diversity, and adaptation were incorporated and tested for their importance in the Brazilian ISD environment. Interconnectedness in the organizational setting was not seen as especially relevant in the Brazilian environment. Uncertainty was also seen as a huge concern, dealing with risks again in uncertain events, and how managers and other IT personnel would respond to these risks, and whether they'd create unnecessary delays in an IS project or any other difficulties really. The Australian study then that we selected was looking at complexity in ISD through an empirical case study. Complexity management then requires several knowledge processes to encompass learning among the employees and the managers. ISD is crucial to instigating organisational change. It determined that. The socio-technical nature of ISD is increased complexity across many contextual dimensions. The human and machine element then, so it obviously increases the difficulty level of projects in many ways, I suppose. To address this complexity requires then a broad focus from what was usual, what was the case usually. The experience, knowledge and skills of project managers then is crucial to solving these complex issues. In fact, in Australia there was a forum actually created, so their knowledge would be available anytime it was required to solve real-time issues that would occur. To compare both then, organizational politics was an issue for both really. Just going back to the risk, then really the uncertain events, if they occurred, there would be conflict between the managers and the employees. That was seen, and it was seen in both cases. The resilience study supports the notion that both human and technical factors would remain an important set of interactive components in complex ISD, and the main objective of the Australian study was to focus on how ISD can be used to create value for an organisation, facilitate organisational change, and be used as an intervention for problem solving.